All cultures are not equal. Now, this is a statement that a lot of people don't like to hear because that implies that some cultures are better than others. And the truth is, yes, some cultures are better than others. Yep, correct. Yep, this is going to be the most racist video you're going to see today. But don't worry, gamers, because we do it with love. Love in our hearts. I'll just be real. Yeah, lock in, boys and girl. It's going to be insane. All right, so I wanted to show you a little video of an average day in America. All right, this is an average day in America, and then we're gonna do a deep dive on certain areas. All right, a bit of Matt Walshing around. You are not ready for what we are about to see today. All right, I am going hard on this because this is something I've been saying a lot, and the more I say it, the more I get canceled for it. The more I get canceled for it, the more I want to continue saying it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, bro. Like, these crash outs are insane.
You want me to go to jail? You want me to go to jail?
No, they don't want you to go to jail. You do. You want to go to jail. You want to go to jail so bad. We need to reopen the asylums.
True.
We have to do it.
The fatigue is real!
We're protesting against this place, the drip.
Oh my god, dude! And by the way, when I say all cultures aren't created equal, I am including the fucking weird LGBT inclusive woke culture too. All right, that is part of it. Some cultures are worse than others. The ones that are, okay, this is obviously going to be subjective, this is my opinion. The ones that are denominations of biblical cultures, for example, a Jewish culture, a Christian culture, I think they're the best cultures. All right, that's it, bro. The Judeo-Christian values are fucking goated. They're goated, it's over, all right? And every other culture is a little worse, all right? Now, obviously, there's, no one's gonna like this one. Now, obviously, there's gonna be levels to this. There are gonna be levels and limits to this shit, all right? That's my opinion. I'm just saying. But, and I've used this example many times before, and I'll use it again. If there's a culture that thinks that it's okay to rape children, do you think your neighborhood would be safer or less safe if you invited 100 people from that culture to your neighborhood? There is no one on the planet that would say, in my opinion, it would make the neighborhood safer, okay? But that is what they are trying to get you to believe. They are trying to get you to believe this shit. And that is fucking retarded.
Cafe because it is run and funded by a homophobic church. So we think that's both.
Homophobic church? You mean a church that follows the word of God? What do you mean a homophobic church? Dude, you're allowed to have your values. Someone else is allowed to have their values. Like, get a life, brother. Oh my God.
And that's bullshit, and we're out here to protest them and tell them to get the hell out of our neighborhood. We're
Man, one video after another. Yep, there's one video after another. There's more and more and more of these. And, oh, this is in Philadelphia.
Oh, damn. Oh, my God. Yeah, your head was in the ground.
Oh, God, it's the fentanyl zombies.
You gonna be all right?
Bro, look at this. What is this shit? It's a zombie town? Yeah, look at them. I mean, it's gotta be like it is actually like they...
You need help?
Jesus.
Bro.
God damn, bro. Like, this is just too much.
And you're gonna tell me that culture is as good as a culture that, I don't know, goes to church on Sunday? Like, what are we even talking about, bro? Bro, they went AFK in real time.
I don't understand, like, the mindset that people have. But if you see something like this and you think to yourself, this is fine, fucking living corpses sitting around in the fucking public park. There needs to be involuntary commitment. Yeah, no, I think so. The issue is that it just keeps happening in general and people put up with it. That's really where things are going. That's really where the problem is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Now, I do think that the solution is jail, okay? Jail and asylums. I think in my opinion, if someone is committing a crime, they should go to jail. This is what I have to say. Now, the reason why I want to mention this is, I think, in my opinion, if there is a culture like this in the United States, it needs to be fixed. Because, in my opinion, this is not Western values. This is not Western culture. This is fucking demonic shit. Now, not everyone feels this way. Let me introduce you to the internet's largest cuck, iCucks. He decided to make a stream where he was attacking his own viewers for being racist. Now, again, they'll call you racist, but they won't call you wrong, okay? I'll be real. This is why I am actually going crazy here, and that's why I am going to stand up. I am going to stand up for my values, okay? My values. Which are, that some cultures are worse than others. They are! It's a real thing, and you have to wake up and notice it, okay? It's a real thing.
And anyway, iDubbbz comes out against pattern recognition. Uh-oh. Let's see this.
Yo, I mean, oh my gosh. This one. This person says, here in Italy, many of my friends have been robbed, assaulted, and it's been by North African immigrants each time. But I guess the smug Californian has ruled that drawing any kind of conclusion from that is wrong. It is wrong.
So, good news, great news. iDubbbz, a man with absolutely zero moral foundation and absolutely no ethical framework to his life, decides that somebody who was robbed does not have the right to feel the way they do. Now, I'll be real. Italy, and all of Europe, to be honest, is having a bit of a culture shock. Because they also decided to have this leftoid mentality of how every fucking culture is the same. And so what they did was they invited people that do not have the same culture as they do. They invited people that don't see any problem with raping people, that don't see any problem with robbing from people. And surprise, surprise, shock of all shocks, people are getting raped and robbed in Europe. So people in Europe are starting to fucking notice this shit. They want a Trump immediately. And so, you know, we have iDubbbz over here from his cushy fucking house in California, or whatever the fuck, is gonna sit here and morally grandstand to tell you about how you're being racist. You're gonna be racist if you notice pattern recognition.
It is racist and fucking weird.
You're weird.
It's easy to say.
You're weird and racist, I'm saying from my glass house. You're weird and racist.
Yeah, because
Bro's married to a whore, by the way. Speaking of values.
it's not happening to you.
By the way, just so we're clear, iDubbbz never went to Italy once in his life.
There's a wide variety of markets in Italy, from what I've seen,
Okay.
as someone who hasn't even been there. I went to a lot of places,
Nice.
virtually, on GeoGuessr. I've been to a lot of places in Italy.
He was places in Italy, and he decided, well, you're just racist.
iDubbbz is going to have this opinion because he can afford to.
You talk about things you definitely don't know or are not willing to understand. No, I know everything about Italy. No, dude, it takes 2 seconds to fucking Google.
So the guy living in California is shutting down Italians in his own comment section
Yeah.
because he recognized patterns on Google. Brilliant!
You thinking
And it's not only that, by the way, because this is a known fact. It is a known fact that crime is increasing to the point that they're banning ninja swords in England. All right? There is a reason why we're talking about this. There's a reason why people are noticing about this. And there's a reason why people are saying this. It's not automatically racist unless you are a libtard cucked fuck that literally just wants the correct opinion to virtue signal to your audience. And realistically, that's what you're doing. Okay? That is what you're doing right now. You are doing pandering, virtue signaling garbage. Absolute garbage, just to show how you are morally superior to the people that are literally having their family members raped and stabbed, okay? Like, oh, we don't care, okay? We do not care about you and your stupid, fake, flimsy morals.
that you're a pattern recognizer is not racist. Google.
There is the selfishness in the performative altruism that leftist people like this have. To them, it costs them nothing to virtue signal, but it costs other people potentially their lives. Luxury beliefs? Yes, it's a luxury belief. This is something that people can believe in because they can afford to.
Oh, this I also love. Let an undocumented immigrant move in with you. It's like change the undocumented immigrant part to fucking a stranger. Let a stranger move in with you. Yeah, still don't like it, bro.
It's easy for somebody in a
Wow,
gated
so
community
brave.
to call you a racist and say that you're stupid. And you can see how gleeful and happy he is patronizing a person who's being terrorized by North African migrants. And meanwhile, he's sitting in some probably $1 million house enjoying the comforts of a first world country. And I think it's very frustrating for people to see that from somebody like iDubbbz. It's
Absolutely.
very obnoxious.
Let an undocumented immigrant move in with you. No.
Yeah, so whenever you see
You're stupid.
whenever you see
And you
shit
can
like this, it's just the obvious virtue signal. And again, it's coming from this really annoying, like, far left, like, leftoid lobotomite perspective of Every person is the same. Cultures don't impact people whatsoever. It makes no difference. You're just racist. If you are noticing the suspicious pattern that North African migrants are, you know, committing the by far largest amount of rapes, that's probably because you're racist and not the reality, because all people are actually the same. So you can move back to your wife, boyfriend's house and maybe rethink the video that you want to make, bro, because this is absolutely fucking abominable. It really is. And I think we need to call it out, because while he's getting blasted by Asmongold right now, I think a lot of people don't know that this is real life, okay? A lot of people don't know that this is literally real life that's happening everywhere in the world, mostly in Europe at this point. But a lot of people don't realize and don't want to recognize the fact that, yes, not all cultures are equal, and that doesn't make you racist. That makes you awake. That makes you having a pulse, okay? Literally, absolutely fuck yourself and your fake ideals and fake morals that you virtue signal from your glass house as some libtard fuck, you know, lecturing everyone. Now, this is a lot of a European problem, but it's an American problem. And I wanted to do this specifically to talk about America. Specifically, I talked about this, I wanted to follow up. I talked about this a little bit ago, a couple of weeks ago. This is a Somalian man. He looks like a zombie that came out of fucking Call of Duty, all right? This dude was arrested for attempting to kidnap an 11-year-old and also had a past history of rape and shit, allegedly. So this is a while ago, all right? This was July 14th, all right? So this was a while ago. Colorado DA's office will drop some of the charges against Solomon Galligan, the registered sex offender arrested for attempting to kidnap an 11-year-old boy during recess from an elementary school. Following the arrest, Galligan was found to be incompetent after he underwent a competency evaluation, resulting in the DA's plan to drop the charges. So this dude is a registered sex offender that was on the streets, because, of course, if you can't ever arrest these people or you're racist, you don't want to ever be racist. So, all right, so they let him out, even though he's a registered sex offender. He tried to kidnap an 11-year-old. They stopped him. They arrested him again, and they let him out again. This is absolutely insufferable. Now, I know what you're thinking, Nux. Why are you being racist towards Somalians? Why are you being racist towards Somalians? This is not right. Okay, maybe it's an individual. Hold your horses, all right? When I'm racist, I am racist for the good reasons only. Now, this was a couple weeks ago. Yesterday, they dropped all of the charges. Not just that one, but all of them. Update, Colorado's DA office officially dropped all charges against Solomon Galligan, the registered sex offender arrested for attempting to kidnap an 11-year-old boy during recess from an elementary school. Galligan is now being treated at the Colorado Mental Health Hospital for mental health issues, but likely to be released. His defense said, when receiving the proper treatment, Galligan is a kind person who likes music, cookies, burritos, and animals. And therefore, he is basically out on the streets again. Now, I'll be real with you, this is fucking insane. This is literally insane. This is absolutely fucking crazy. This is not someone that should be walking the streets. I would not at all feel comfortable if that was the case, but they don't want you to be racist. So they're gonna tell you, listen guys, if we arrest him, that's racist. Now, I'm gonna look this up because I don't know if this is true. All right, I don't know if this is true. What's the average, someone told me this, IQ in, you know what? We'll do it this way. In America, what is the average IQ of a retard? All right, we'll do it this way. I'm just curious, bro. All right, what's the average IQ of a retard? All right, let's go. All right, so retard is outdated and offensive. Ha! Only retards think like that. It's an IQ below 70. All right. Now, I'm about to do something that's gonna be deemed as racist, all right? What's the average IQ? There's no way it's that low. In Somalia. There's no way it's that low, right? Estimates are disputed, ranging from 68 to 92 across different studies. A 2019 study reported the average IQ of 68. That's fucking crazy, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That's fucking insane. That's fucking crazy. I don't know, bro. That's fucking crazy. Holy fucking shit. So yeah, so according to this study, which could be false, not saying it's not, but according to this study, the average Somalian is considered a retard in America. I don't think that's true. That's fucking insane. I can't believe that. I'm literally in shock. Someone in my chat told me that I didn't believe you, so I wanted to check it up. Oh my god, there's no fucking way. Anyway, I'll be real. Yeah, we have a problem. We have a problem here. And the problem is, the virtue signaling bullshit. It literally is. It is the absolute virtue signaling bullshit, making believe all cultures are equal. It's no problem at all. You are the racist if you think that cultures aren't all equal. Even though you have, like, let's say in Egypt, where 99% of women in Egypt, by the way, this is a real stat, 99% of women in Egypt say they were sexually assaulted. 99%. So you're gonna tell me that every culture is equal? Like, what are we even doing? It's not true. Wake up. Literally wake up. It is a lie that they are telling you because they don't want you to think that people are different based on their upbringing, based on their ethics, based on their values. Okay? Fuck that shit. It's over. We have to wake up and realize that reality might not be very nice. But unfortunate, it is what it is, all right? So get the fuck up, put on your big boy pants, one nipple at a time like everybody else, and welcome to real life, where apparently it's racist to state facts. All right, that's pretty great. That's pretty great. So anyway, Matt Walsh made a video about the Somalia thing. So let's see what we got.
With this letter, the Somali community in Minnesota is acknowledging that, by their own words, they don't have that level of moral awareness, which means quite simply that they don't have any business being in this country. They should be deported, and their temporary protected status, which has gone on for 34 years, should be immediately rescinded. More than any other failed state in Africa, Somalia has been in the news a lot lately. First, several Somalis were convicted in a $250 million scheme to defraud U.S. taxpayers by claiming they cooked meals for children when they were really buying sports cars.
No way. No way! Oh my god! Dude, I don't understand. Listen, man, we're America, all right? We're letting immigrants come in, all right? We're letting immigrants come in. Shouldn't we try to take the best people, like, for our country, bro? Like, why are we doing this?
Then several Somali politicians in the U.S., including Ilhan Omar, announced that they're working on behalf of Somali interests, not America's. Then a Somali man in a playground in Minnesota harassed a woman named Shiloh Hendricks and her 18-year-old child, prompting the woman to drop the N-bomb, heard around the world.
That's true. That person was a Somalian also. A Somalian youth, as some would even say. Yeah, no, but there are all these clips of, like, let me see if I can find that Ilhan Omar clip. Oh my god. I'm a proud Guatemalan before an American. Democrat Representative Delia Ramirez. Sleep in comfort knowing that I'm here to protect the interests of Somalia from inside the U.S. Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar. Like, bro, these people shouldn't be American representatives! What are we doing? Oh my god, I found the actual clip.
Dad Somali waxaan nahay dad.
Yeah, I'm not listening to all that. Anyway, I am here to protect the interests of Somalia from within the U.S. system. That should not be the goal. It literally should not be the goal. Oh my god, can you believe that there are some Jews that are Israel first? When you have, like, these people are actually fucking saying this shit? By the way, for the record, I want to make this very clear. I don't think that any person that puts any country over America should be serving in Congress. By the way, I want to make this clear. I don't care what country it is. I don't care if it's Somalia or if it's Guatemala or if it's Israel. I don't give a shit, all right? If your politics are Palestine before America, fuck you. You should not be in office in America, all right? It doesn't matter what country, where it is. It's literally basic logic. It's insane. Now, anyway, let's see what we got. She married her brother, according to my chat. Nice.
Then to cap it all off, the Democrat Party endorsed a Somali socialist to be the next mayor of Minneapolis. And at the moment, he appears to be probably the front runner. So it's safe to say that 3 decades after the U.S. government determined that Somalis deserve temporary protected status in this country as refugees from their own dysfunctional governance, a temporary status that has never been revoked, Somalis are dominating our news cycle and some of our major elections as well. And yet, for all the ways that Somalis have found their way into our national discourse in recent months, there's one fundamental question that has remained unanswered. What exactly are all these Somalis doing in the country?
What a fantastic question. What are they doing here? Well, I mean, maybe they're here to enhance America. Because last I checked, what I was told by my favorite Democrats in office is that other cultures are enhancing America. All right, they are here to make America even better. Oh, they're really improving America as a country, probably, with their rich cultures.
What value do they add? What's their goal? We're told that if we draw any general conclusions about Somalis, Somali culture, based on the observable behavior of Somalis, then we're bigots.
True!
We're not allowed to inquire into their motives in any way. But despite all the deflection, no one has ever explained in any affirmative way.
Diversity is our strength. How could you say this, Matt Walsh?
What Somalis actually care about. What's their culture all about? This culture.
Bro, they are 68 IQ doctors and engineers, okay? How dare you even ask these questions? Now, again, I'm not gonna lie. Hating anyone on an individual level is absolutely racist. Recognizing a pattern is a sign that you are a walking human being that's not afraid of your own shadow. Okay? Like, this is crazy.
So that we're importing into this country en masse. What core principle would they defend in large numbers if it ever came under attack? We know, based on the candidates they elect, that Somalis wouldn't defend the Constitution or the freedom of speech or freedom of association. So what's their motivation? Aside from draining the U.S. Treasury, what single issue really matters to them? Regardless of how often I've asked this question, directly or indirectly, I've never received a response, but suddenly...
Oh, please.
And somewhat unexpectedly, that's all changed now, thanks to a court case in Minnesota involving a Somali man named Khalil Ibrahim Diri.
Yeah,
now the mystery is over. Yes, as part of this criminal proceeding, the Somali community in the state of Minnesota has just revealed what they're truly passionate about. And their answer, in rather unambiguous terms, is that they're passionate, apparently, about the right of men to sexually abuse and torment other people's children.
What?
This is the culture they're defending. This is what they're willing to excuse, and there's no debating this. They went to court and made their voices very clear. Now, let's start with the specifics of this case.
Wait. What? I hope he has, like evidence, bro. Oh my God, dude.
Local news in Minnesota won't really talk about it for obvious reasons, so instead of playing a clip, I'll summarize the background myself. 42-year-old Khalil was born in Somalia, spent several years in refugee camps in Kenya. He arrived in the United States in 2006.
Okay.
He worked as a driver for Uber and Lyft most of the time. In 2024, Khalil was in Minneapolis when he noticed that a 12-year-old girl was playing in her backyard alone.
Oh, God.
So he parked his Toyota in an alley outside and asked if the girl's mother was at home. She said no. Short time later, the man put his hand over the girl's mouth, hit her head to the point that she became dizzy and disoriented, drove her a short distance away, and sexually assaulted her in a manner that is too graphic to describe on this show.
Holy shit, dude. Oh my God. That's fucking horrible. Someone in chat just said the Somalians improved my neighborhood. Yeah, I'll be real. I don't believe you. But this is crazy. That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. And now, again, to be real, I'll be honest and real. You can't make a decision about an entire group of people based on what one person did. This person is an obvious piece of shit that should be fed into a wood chipper, and it's a completely indefensible thing that every single Somalian voice in the country should immediately get up and disavow. Literally every time. However, I have a feeling that's not going to be the case. I have a feeling that is not going to be the case. Now, realistically, you have to understand something, and this is the analogy I gave you before. If, for example, hypothetically, there is a culture that thinks raping children is not actually so bad, those people in your neighborhood would not enhance the neighborhood. They won't. It's just basic logic, the most basic logic of all time. And obviously that is the case. Now, obviously, you'll be called a racist if you repeat what I say, so therefore, take it from me, definitely subscribe. But this is crazy.
Now, 5 days later, the child told a school counselor about the attack. The next month, as police investigated, the girl's parents discovered that the man was still calling their daughter and sending her text messages. He was saying things like, quote, "Hey, beautiful, I miss you. When can I see you again?"
Bro.
The parents pretended to be their daughters to lure the man back. And when he arrived at the home, they held him there until police arrived. Once arrested, the man didn't display any form of contrition. He claimed that he thought the girl was 19 years old.
Oh, get out of here! Oh, my bleeding butthole. There is no way. Oh, come on, dude. What are we, 12-year-old?
Which apparently would make it okay to abduct her. He criticized the mother. He continued to fight the charges until he was convicted of first-degree criminal sexual
misconduct. Bro, how do you admit to this and then fight the charges, bro?
Conduct in May of this year. Now, based on this series of events, which again is as sanitized as I can make it for the purposes of this show, but based on all this, any community or culture with decency or morality would make it very clear that criminal does not represent them. They wouldn't make excuses for him. They certainly wouldn't minimize what he had done. Instead, they would recognize his behavior as unspeakably evil. And if
that's what you'd think. Like, for example, realistically, if there was a Christian man that ended up being a pedophile, I would expect every Christian on the planet to show up and condemn that Christian pedophile. Just like if there's a Jewish pedophile, every Jew I know shows up to say that that pedophile is fucking disgusting and should be fed foot first into a wood chipper. All right, that's what any normal developed culture would do. There would be no defending it, absolutely no defending it in any normal way. Oh, God.
If they said anything to him at all, they'd urge him to repent for the acts of horror that he committed rather than, continue to dodge accountability as he's been doing. But that is not how the Somali community in Minneapolis has responded to this case.
No way.
Instead, as Alpha News first reported, the Al Hissan Islamic Center in St. Paul submitted a community letter of support.
Oh, my God. There's no fucking way. And they fucking put their letterhead on it and everything. The Islamic Community Center. Like, I mean, let's be real, dude. Let's be real. So, some of the holy scriptures, all right, are a little sussy-wussy, all right, to put it bluntly. I'll be real. Oh, my God.
For this man, addressed to the judge in the case. Now, I'm going to read directly from this letter because it answers any and all questions you might have about Somali culture and the Somali community in the United States. So this is them speaking for themselves. Here's what they wrote. Quote, "We, the undersigned members of the Somali community, write this letter to express our strong and heartfelt support for Diri, a member of our community.
Oh, no.
Many of us first met Kalinal through our shared journey as Somali refugees, arriving in this country with little more than hope and determination to rebuild our lives. Like so many of us, Kalinal has faced the challenge of starting over in a new culture, learning English, adjusting to a fast-paced system, and raising children in an environment far different from the one he grew up in. Before the situation, Kalinal was known as a devoted family man and an outgoing person. Despite the financial pressures of life in the U.S., Kalinal also still managed to support needy family members back in Somalia. The situation Kalinal is currently facing comes as a deep shock to all of us."
Bro, I am in actual shock. I am in actual shock. And the fact that they thought it was a good idea to do this, the fact that they thought it was a good idea to release this is absolutely shocking. I don't even know what to say. Like, they really earned that 68 IQ, goddammit. They earned that 68 IQ. Oh my lord. So not only do they support the act of raping a 12-year-old girl, however, they thought it was they broadcasted it. Oh my god. I'm actually in shock. For those of you that are unaware, there was a Pakistani grooming gang in England that was raping white children, all right? Essentially, one of the arguments that they made is they would go after white children because it's permitted. It's permitted. So, yeah, that's a real thing, by the way. I'm not even joking. That was one of the arguments that was made. I showed it in a previous video. Fucking hell, dude. So, yeah, it turns out not all cultures are the same. I ended up triggering this one history teacher. Okay, all right? No one cares about random Nux tangents and lore. But I ended up triggering this random history teacher, okay? Because this history teacher decided that it was important to make this video talking about the Inca tribe. How they were so... How their culture was so good, because look at these rocks.
You were telling me the Spanish looked at this and said uncivilized. The Inca built the Morai terraces as an agricultural laboratory because each separate circle created a different microclimate so they could figure out exactly what to grow at what elevation. The Inca, who cultivated 44 types of corn and 4,000 types of potatoes. The Inca, who built this stuff 600 years ago, and it is still standing because it's all earthquake proof. The Inca, who created salt flats that still to this day aren't privatized. They're all sharing it from the same hot spring in the mountain, and everyone gets a share. Not to mention Coricancha, Machu Picchu, the fact that all of their cities were made intentionally in the shapes of animals that were important to them. This reminds me of exactly what happened in Tenochtitlan. When Cortez laid eyes on that city for the first time, he wrote in his diary that the temples were grander than anything he would have seen in Sevilla. Yeah, you're telling me the Spanish saw this and they said, nah, inferior.
Based Spanish. Based Spanish. They literally did child sacrifices. Okay? The Inca did child sacrifices when they wanted rain. Okay? Yes! They are inferior! They were inferior. They're gone. They were inferior! They were, yes! Absolutely! Am I saying they should all be brutally murdered and executed? Of course not. They're all created in the image of God and all that. They are an inferior culture. Yes! They sacrificed human sacrifices, bro. What are we talking about? So of course she responded. It was amazing. Amazing response.
On this hill. I'm specifically talking about the Inga here. We're not talking about the Mexica. That's a whole separate type of sacrifice. If we're just looking at Tawantinsuyu, the Quechua people of the Incan Empire, they practice sacrifices like most other civilizations throughout history did in times of crisis. So
not Jewish civilizations or Christian civilizations. None of those ever did human sacrifice, ever. Actually, it turns out, I think that's a pretty good line in the sand for what makes cultures better than others, though. I'll be real.
So famine, natural disasters. But the unique thing about the Quechua is that when you're looking at like the Incan civilization, you essentially have the elites and then you have everyone else. Sacrifices were volunteers from the elite class.
Oh, the elites convinced their children to volunteer to sacrifice themselves. Bro, this changed the game.
They believed that the elites were closer to the gods and could therefore appease them better. Also, in terms of sacrifice, they were kind about it. Hear me out.
Because they were kind about their human sacrifices, guys.
Unlike the Mexica, when you're like ripping out a still beating heart out of someone's chest, the Inca would intentionally use coca leaves and would use chicha and would drug up the sacrifice and then leave them on a mountain, a cold, chilly mountain, to be exposed to the elements. Which, if you're a volunteer sacrifice where you're heavily drugged before you die, also, I mean,
still fucking inferior. All right, what do you want me to say? What is this argument?
And I can equate human sacrifice throughout history to so many things. And I think the fact that a lot of people are commenting, oh, but the sacrifice is again indicative of the fact that you have received a quite white education.
Oh, you are such a white racist, thinking that it's bad when cultures sacrifice children.
Because you are knowing them for the bad things that they have done and not all of the wonders that they accomplished.
Yeah, they did a lot of cool things. They also are an inferior fucking culture. They sacrifice their children. Like, what do you want me to tell you? It is an inferior culture. I don't think there's anything racist in recognizing the fact that, thank God, our culture is better than that. I have everyone in my chat trying their absolute best to debunk my claim, all right? All the gaytheists are popping out of the little hellholes to tell me how I'm wrong. Because of Abraham and Isaac. Oh, you mean the sacrifice that didn't happen? Yeah, there was no sacrifice. That didn't happen. Jesus was sacrificed. Jesus was sacrificed like for the sins metaphorically. It wasn't some human sacrifice to bring rain. All right, that wasn't the intention of Pontifex, whatever the fuck his name was that killed him. All right, what are we doing? Huh? What are you? Nice try, chat. Nice try. Not once. Not a single time. Not one. How about Salem witch trials? Those were not sacrifices. They executed people they thought were witches, not sacrifices. All right? Again, you're wrong. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is, there are inferior cultures, actually. There are. Moloch? Yeah, Moloch wasn't Jews or Christians. They were pagans. Good point. Good point, goat. Thank you for bringing that one up. Hell yeah, dude. Very cool. Yeah, she defends the human sacrifices. Because if you are a libtard in the modern era libtard, that's what it's all about. The modern era libtard needs you to think that every culture is equal inherently because all peoples are inherently equal. There is no difference between any people or any upbringings or any cultures or any of that. That is literally what they do. Okay, that's crazy.
Now, this is a letter that you might write if this guy had, say, lost his license because he got too many speeding tickets or something, or if he got picked up by the IRS because he didn't file his taxes on time. It is not, to any sane person, an appropriate letter to write when Kalina was just convicted for hitting a 12-year-old girl in the head, abducting her, sexually assaulting her, and then texting her to see when he could do it again. In no universe should an unrepentant rapist receive the strong and heartfelt support of anyone.
I agree.
Much less an entire...
He is completely correct. He is completely and utterly correct. Absolutely. Fucking hell, dude. And anyone that even supports this is someone that should honestly be on a fucking a list somewhere. It's insane.
A community of people, much less a community of people that we have invited into our home, into our country. Nor should this community of people repeatedly refer to this brutal sexual assault as a situation, which is probably the single most dismissive word they could have chosen.
Yeah, true. The situation is crazy. Dude, the Pontifex Pilate situation with Jesus, that was wild. Bro! Stop, bro. You can't call it a situation. Yo, remember that whole Twin Towers situation that happened on 9/11? Yeah, I heard of that situation. This is fucking crazy, man. It is insane.
And on top of that, they shouldn't brag that he's funneling money out of the U.S. economy and sending it back to Somalia. But the most revealing part of the letter is when Somalis that wrote this letter explain that Clinton, quote, has faced the challenge of starting over in a new culture.
Well, that's implying that there's something different about the cultures, isn't it?
Well, that's about as explicit as it gets. Apparently, in Somali culture, at least according to the people who wrote this letter, this is what they're implying.
Yeah.
When a young girl is alone and defenseless.
Yeah, what an insane thing to even include in the thing. It's like, listen, man, he didn't know better. Yes, he's a 40-year-old man that kidnapped and raped a 12-year-old, but in his defense, it's really hard. It's really hard looking at the new culture that he's a part of and trying his best to get with the grain. Bro, what the fuck are we talking about? What are we doing? The Holocaust drama is insane, guys. Like, bro, stop. This is horrible. And yes, people have to be aware of it. Absolutely. All right? You have a dude that grew up getting used to raping 12-year-olds where he used to come from, and now he moves to your neighborhood. What the fuck do you think he's gonna do? It's unreal.
In her backyard, you can sexually assault her as much as you want. And indeed, the statistics bear that out. Somalia ranks as the top country in the world for sexual violence against children.
Wait, what?
Among other abuses.
Holy shit. That's crazy. That's crazy. If that's true, like, what are we doing? Literally, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?
And that's what they're very clearly implying here. Therefore, according to this letter, we should have some sympathy for this poor guy. After all, he's just having trouble getting used to our peculiar little customs in the United States. It's apparently very difficult to adjust to this whole thing where we don't sexually assault children.
Yeah, true.
You know, just like it's tough to learn, say, the rules of baseball or tipping etiquette when you go out to eat.
It's crazy.
And it's just like that. And that's the position of this Islamic center in St. Paul. He's adjusting to our culture and having some growing pains when it comes to the whole, not
raping babies thing. Yeah, that's been difficult. That's been fun. That's been tough. Listen, man, everyone has growing pains, you know? You get married, you get invited to your in-laws for the first time, and they're like, things are different, it's not exactly the way you grew up. It's not exactly the way you grew up, That's what this guy was like, trying his best not to rape 12-year-olds. Yeah, absolutely. They are enhancing our country on a massive scale.
Actually abusing children thing. Never mind the fact that at the time of this attack, Lionel had lived in the United States for nearly 2 decades. So he had quite a bit of time to get used to our laws and customs. And more importantly, you're supposed to ignore the fact
Bro is probably walking down the street looking at all those people that aren't raping children like, these people don't know what it's really like. These people don't get the promised land, all right? These people, they don't know. They don't know what's good. Dude's walking down like a fucking gangster. All these fucking white retards that aren't raping children. Oh my God. Wow, what losers.
That regardless of where you were raised, you should know at an instinctual level that it's one of the most profound evils imaginable to assault a child.
Agreed.
It doesn't require education to know this. It doesn't require customs.
Well, actually, I guess it does. Actually, it turns out I guess it does. I mean, look, man, all the fucking terrorist organizations in the Middle East, they all have sex slaves, like child sex slaves. All right, the Houthis, Hamas, even in Syria, they did this. They do this to Yazidi people. They did this to the Kurds. Like, it's unreal, bro. It is unreal. There are some cultures that are a little fucking, in my opinion, gross. It's just a fact. It is. And they do it. And they do it to children. And realistically, if you open your borders and you invite them in en masse, you really don't think it's going to make it a little less safe, perhaps, for some people? Like, I think honestly, it's a weaponized ignorance that a lot of people are doing. All right. I think a lot of people are trying to weaponize this ignorance and trying to make believe that, well, all cultures are the same. And that's why the media tries to hide it so much. That's why you have walking fentanyl zombie number 2 over here. You have this fucking guy out of jail. All right. They don't even want to announce that they're arresting them because you might become racist. So they just release these motherfuckers. Catch and release, baby. What if they call you racist? They don't want you to realize that they're importing, honestly, some kind of fucking idiots. That's why you have to wake up. That's why you absolutely have to wake up. And obviously this isn't like an all Somalian issue. It really isn't. But it is a Somalian culture issue. It absolutely is.
Doesn't require anything but a shred of conscience. It requires having the moral awareness of a human being instead of, say, a lizard. With this letter, the Somali community in Minnesota is acknowledging that by their own words. They don't have that level of moral awareness, which means quite simply that they don't have any business being in this country. They should be deported. And their temporary protected status, which has gone on.
Literally, why would you invite people into our country if it makes our country less safe or makes our country worse? Like, literally, why would we do this? Why the fuck would we do this?
For 34 years should be immediately rescinded.
Yeah, shout out to iDubbbz. Shout out to iDubbbz, who says that you're racist if you notice patterns.
Really using children as a part of the culture, then, as they're implying and as the statistics really do bear out, then this culture should not be permitted to enter the U.S. under any circumstance.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, I'm not cherry-picking one letter here. The Al Hissan Islamic Center in St. Paul sent this letter to the judge on behalf of the Somali community, but they weren't the only ones to voice their support for this unapologetic predator.
No.
I went looking through the docket on the case, and I found that many of this guy's family and close associates wrote letters to the judge as well.
Dude, if I had a family member that kidnapped a 12-year-old and raped them, I would disown them immediately. There would be I would never talk to them ever again. I wouldn't visit them in prison. They would be dead to me. They would be fucking dead to me immediately. This is insanity. This is crazy.
And they all said the same thing. Here's how prosecutors summarized those letters in their sentencing memo to the judge. Quote, finally, defendant's family and friends do not acknowledge his actions, the impact they had on the victim, or recognize his wrongdoing. The statements show that either defendant has not told them what he is convicted of, or that they are dismissive of his crime. Family members are focused on the impact that this has had on him and his family. None of them acknowledge the victim and her family.
Bro,
while they cite that he's a person of good character, it is more likely that this offense is a side of him they did not know about, nor do they want to know about. But quite simply, sexual assault on a child is not something a person of good character does.
Yeah, you don't say.
The victim's mother.
Listen, man, it's just not a thing we do here, all right? Like, we try our best, all right? We try, all right? All right, raping children, we try. Listen, we try, okay? It's illegal, in fact. Bro, what is going on?
Also stated that she and her family have been receiving death threats within the Somali community because of this case.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I needed to get up. I needed to walk around for a minute. I'm in shock. I'm actually in shock. The mother of this 12-year-old who was kidnapped and raped was getting death threats from Somalians because they caused their bro to get arrested. They're like, you caused our friend to get arrested by letting your very sexy 12-year-old daughter play in her garden. What the fuck? This is nutty. It's nutty. It's actual nutty. Wood chippers, baby. What are we doing? Oh, my Lord.
Yes, members of the Somali community are currently threatening to murder the victim's mother.
Oh, my God.
That's how they're responding to the fact that this woman...
Okay, dude, think before you sleep literally just messaged me something. He just messaged me something. Oh God, it's Twitter. Oh fuck, what's this? I don't know if he's watching the stream. Oh no. Pakistani immigrants are demanding that Japan changes its culture to fit Islam. There's no way this is true, bro.
こちらのパキスタン人親子。皆さんは通われてるんですか？そうです。私たちの子供がイスラム教が。
Our children are Muslims, so at kindergarten.
言うとクリスマスとかあとハロウィンとかそれで。
They don't celebrate any of that stuff.
でももうやらしてないんです。その日は休んでる。熱い信仰心。イスラム教はこれでのはもう全然ないから。欲しい？欲しい。やらない全然やらない。本格ガチ〇〇シリーズ。まず大阪に入ってみると店内のウルデュー語。そう、ここはガチパキスタン。お店の真ん中に大阪有数のモスク。廃を終えたイスラム教徒。この店になる。
Again, I have no problem of people, bringing parts of their culture to other countries. I don't feel like that's a problem. It's the whole invade and change other countries.
まさに西淀川に広がるイスラム世界。全くの世界。時に日本に今後。
Oh my God, dude. My children are Muslim. I don't let them celebrate Japanese festivals. Instead, they take the day off from school. There's no Islam in Japan. Japan needs to become more multicultural. Why, bro? So go back. I don't understand. So go back. Why is changing the country you go to the goal? It's like you leave a shithole, okay, to go to a glorious country to turn it into a shithole. What are we doing? Oh my God, dude.
His daughter was brutally attacked and sexually assaulted by a member of their community. They're responding by threatening to kill the victim's mom.
Fuck, dude, that's crazy.
They're continuing to terrorize the family as a community. And by the way, at trial, Kalinal made it clear that he blames the victim's mother for what happened. Certainly doesn't blame himself. And that might seem insane to you or to me or to any civilized person, but not to this.
Yeah, I find it pretty crazy that you blame the mom of the 12-year-old that was raped. Yeah, I find that pretty weird.
Wonderful community, it would seem. Now, you could tell in that paragraph I just read that they're trying to search for some plausible reason why all of the Somalis involved in this case are defending this man. Like, to a man, they are all defending him.
That's crazy.
And he says that, well, maybe the family didn't know that side of him. This is the kind of line that if you're a prosecutor in Minnesota, you have to include in your argument. Even in the face of overwhelming evidence that Somalis have no business in this country, prosecutors still have to pretend that we're dealing with one or two bad apples who can
That's crazy. It's like, oh, they just didn't know that he was a pedophile. Yes, they're still defending him even though he raped a child, but they didn't know in their defense. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing, bro? This is insane. Like people are trying so hard to be blind to the fact that cultures are different and some cultures are better and worse than others, that they are literally inviting people into our country to rape our children. What are we doing? Like, literally, what are we doing? And you know what? I'll tell you something. While I think that everything I'm saying is perfectly logical, you will show this to your average liberal white girl in college, they will think I am the most hardcore raging racist of all time. Like, this is insanity.
Be reformed. Even when the entire Somali community rushes to defend this scumbag and attacks the victim's family, that's the fiction that apparently needs to be maintained. In the end, the Somalis got what they wanted. And that shouldn't be surprising since they effectively control the government of Minnesota at this point. The judge, Michael Burns, handed out a sentence of just 12 years in this case, with release from prison after 10 years, and the rest served on probation.
In 10 years, this dude's gonna be back out on the street. He didn't learn his lesson. What are we doing, guys? What are we doing? This is insane. This is crazy.
He's going to do 10 years in prison for abducting and sexually assaulting a child out of her parents' backyard.
This should literally be a penis guillotine. Penis guillotine, and then you put him foot first into the wood chipper while it's on slow. Okay? Make an event out of it. Invite the neighborhood, okay? Break out the barbecue grills and slowly but surely lower him into the penis guillotine machine. All right? I don't know why we are considering this even remotely acceptable. Literally kill him. According to the law, death penalty. Fucking hell, dude.
10 years. This is a sentence that, without any doubt whatsoever, should have been life imprisonment at a minimum.
Agreed.
Assuming the sharks and the firing squad weren't available.
True.
But that won't happen.
Matt Walsh never heard of the penis guillotine. But once we convert him to penis guillotine, that is the only thing he is going to think about.
Because of Minnesota's laws, which are extremely permissive when it comes to child abuse, Kalina will be out on the streets in just a few years. Again, this is nothing new in Minneapolis or the UK, where Somali rape gangs are particularly active.
True.
They don't often report on cases like this in a local...
Completely true. They don't even talk about it because they don't want to make people racist. I don't know. I'm still scarred by that one case in the UK. That one case in the UK when there was this lady that was raped, and she said that she was raped by a Muslim. And they arrested both the rapist and the victim. And the victim's years in prison were longer than the rapist for hate speech. I remember that case happening. I think it's like a one-time case, but it doesn't matter. This is like that's fucking abominable. How do you not just literally rebel against the fucking government at that point?
News, but they're increasingly common. Here's another case from an apartment complex in Minneapolis a few years ago to give you some idea of how these stories are covered if the media touches them at all. Watch this.
We begin this evening with a disturbing story about a 10-year-old girl who was sexually assaulted by a stranger.
A Minneapolis police
stranger. Just a stranger.
Police say it happened Sunday evening in the hallway of an apartment building in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood. Police arrested 34-year-old Ahmed Hirsi Abdi.
I think he could pass for a white guy. He could pass for a white guy.
Than 24 hours later. As Angela Davis shows us,
he's a stranger. It's just a youth.
Court records show he has a history of mental illness.
I don't know, maybe some sick person did this, but
maybe some sick person did this.
I couldn't believe it.
A criminal complaint.
I couldn't believe it.
States that neighbors heard screams on the third-floor hallway. When they found a young girl crying, they ran to get help from 2 off-duty Minneapolis police officers. The victim told police that a man later identified as Ahmed Abdi followed her in and out of an elevator. And as she
it was just a stranger.
Walked down a hallway, he asked for her name. The complaint states he then extended his hand to her. When she shook his hand, he refused to let go.
Oh my God, dude.
Now, they don't tell you where Ahmed...
A 10-year-old! Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's so gross. It's vile. It's vile, bro.
Hirsi Abdi came from. They don't tell you.
In defense of Ahmed Abdi, he might have been a white gay man. Maybe his old name was John Smythe, all right, from England. And then he changed it, maybe.
Tell you if he's legally in this country or who allowed him to enter.
Possibly white. He's possibly white, in his defense. Now, obviously, there are fucking white pedophiles. This isn't to say that that's not the case. There are pedophiles in every single culture. There literally are. Because pedophiles is not it's not a political issue. It's not a historical issue. It's a biological issue. And some people are fucking freaks. They absolutely are fucking freakos. However, the difference is some cultures just kind of make it okay. That's the problem. The problem is some people are like, yeah, raping children's actually not so bad, it turns out. I'm pretty sure in Somalia, they didn't even classify sexual assault as a crime until a few years ago. Like, that's how backwards some of this shit is. And that's a whole other level.
Instead, they refer to him as a stranger. They tell us he's mentally ill, and then they spend...
Some chatter in my chat right now saying, are you making fun of Muslim pedophiles to take attention away from the IDF bombing unarmed people? This is everything. I'm telling you, one train of thought. How could you be talking about a pedophile when there's literally a genocide happening? What are we doing? Can we not think of two things at the same time, bro? Are two things not allowed to happen simultaneously? Oh my god, dude. Why is everyone so retarded? And I'll be real. Unlike in this situation where you have adults raping children, which is indefensible, and there is absolutely zero reason why it should ever happen, all right? Israel is fighting a war that they didn't start, that Hamas could have ended. That is literally not as bad as armies of child rapists.
And the rest of the segment talking about various resources for sexual assault survivors. But the one resource they don't talk about, even though it would drastically cut down on cases like this, is the resource known as mass deportation. And that's clearly necessary at this point because we're not dealing, again, with one or two bad actors. This is an endemic problem in the culture.
I think he's right.
7 years ago, a region in Somalia established a new lab to investigate sexual assaults. And I'm going to play this for you and see if you notice anything in this report.
Somalia has opened its first forensic laboratory to investigate rape cases. The lab, with support from the Swedish government and the UN Population Fund, brings cutting-edge technology to a part of the world still lacking paved roads and reliable electricity.
We used to send DNA from here to Nairobi or from here to South Africa. So those restraints now are easy. We can manage this and get answers within timely period, within hours, within minutes, where we used to have days, sometimes months to get through.
The lab opened less than a year after the Puntland region passed its first law criminalizing sexual offenses.
2018 is when they passed their first law criminalizing sexual offenses. Sexual offenses weren't crimes until 2018? Dog. Bro, what the fuck, bro? What are we doing, guys? Yeah, and you're gonna tell me that all cultures are the same? Like, these people are retarded. The iDubbbz retards that sit there and preach racism, like, you're all crazy. You're fucking insane people. That means they didn't view rape as a bad thing. Okay? Do you want someone that doesn't view rape as a bad thing in your country? What?
There are some police officers who say rape is not a big deal, and
there are some police officers who say rape, not a big deal. You see, I'm the real feminist, all right? All the fake feminists out there that want to import people from the third world, those are the fake feminists. I'm a real feminist because I actually don't want women to get raped. All right? Oh my God. Bro, we are reaching a cultural zenith, okay? We are reaching a cultural zenith, ladies and gentlemen. The actual fucking singularity. Bro, if you think rape is bad, you're not inclusive enough, guys, okay? You are not inclusive enough to another exactly equal culture.
consider it a minor thing. They say it is nothing new.
Kis Shamis Kabdibail is the only police officer in her unit. She handles all cases involving sexual violence in Puntland. Officer Bile says many of her rape cases are handled by community elders. The perpetrator's family may be ordered to pay the victim's family in camels or goats.
This isn't real. This isn't real, right? You rape a woman, you give the woman's dad a goat? No cultures are inferior. No cultures are inferior, ladies and gentlemen. Everything's the same. Everyone is equal. Yes, bringing in 100 of these people into your neighborhood will not make your neighborhood any less safe at all. They have the same values as you. All humans are blank slates. What? Bro, this isn't 1,000 years ago. This was filmed in 2018. Oh my God. This was filmed in 2018.
And that is just the cases that women report.
So as of 2017, Somalia had just gotten around to criminalizing sexual assault. And then with much fanfare, they open a sexual assault forensic center.
Nice.
And the victims, if they're compensated at all, will be rewarded with camels or goats.
Oh my God, dude. Oh. Listen, the Somalians could have at least gotten the victim a goat. I'll be real here. I'll be real. It's pretty rude. Not only did they rape your daughter, but they don't even give you a goat in return. Honestly, fucking horrible. But the real question is, do you get to pick if you want camels or goats? These are the questions everyone's asking and no one has the answers for.
That's an actual news report from Somalia. Now you have to ask
I'm in shock.
this
I'm
question.
actually in shock. This sounds like something out of South Park, but this is real. And you have communities of people that are just brought from countries that, I'll be real, have inferior cultures. Okay, and you know, I'll be real. Cenk Younger might appreciate the goat in return, but most people would not.
People in this country realize that Somali culture is this backwards? Was there ever a vote on allowing this into our country?
That's a really good point. That is a really good point. In this so-called democracy, no one... How are these fucking decisions made? How are these decisions made? I didn't even consider this. I didn't even think about this, but that's true. Damn. Holy shit. This is wild. Holy shit.
Was there ever any kind of national conversation whatsoever about this?
There was no vote. There was no vote. I don't think anyone knows. I think it's some shadowy cabal fucking shit. It's the libtard organization that's fucking doing this shit. Don't worry, guys. You don't need to have children. We'll just bring in immigrants instead. And these immigrants are superior in every single way. Their culture is just better, guys. I'm telling you. Bro, this is wild. Yeah, no, this is not me being racist. This is me being awake and noticing that there are some cultures that are inferiors than other cultures. So, a funny story that happened to my mom. There was a man that was substantially older than my mother when she was a kid that went to my grandfather and offered if he could purchase my mother for 9 camels. My grandfather promptly said, "Only 9 camels? Absolutely not," and slammed the door on him. My grandfather has a sense of humor. Okay, he's a funny man. May he live and be well. But this is a real true story that happened. Now, yeah, I'll be honest. That is a real true story. It was 9 camels, actually. She was easily worth 10. And dude was a bit skimpy on the camels.
Or did we just decide to grant these foreigners temporary protected status 34 years ago and let them...
My grandfather ruined so many of my mother's relationships. This dude came to... Okay, all right. This is the last story. Dude came to my grandfather's house to pick up my mother for a date. And my grandfather went, opened the door, saw the guy. Saw the dude was dressed like, let's say, rather unkempt. Okay, rather unkempt dress. He reached into his pocket, he took out a $1 bill, he put it in his hand, and he closed the door. Like, I love him. He's amazing. Oh God, he's a real legend. I love that guy.
Flood into the country by hundreds of thousands with no checks and no conversation whatsoever about it. Put simply, we cannot be surprised when we import massive numbers of people from a third world hellhole and then they go on to commit horrible crimes.
Yeah,
this kind of behavior is part of the culture. They have said that themselves. And it always has been. That doesn't mean that every Somali commits these crimes or wants to, but it means that the risk is unacceptably high for people that we are welcoming into our home.
He is right. Like, I'll be honest, it's not accepted in our culture or society for this to happen. And if I knew someone that was a pedophile, I would immediately never talk to them ever again. It's that disgusting and horrible to me. All right, it is literally that disgusting and horrible. I would pull out the penis guillotine immediately. It's that unacceptable. Now, in a culture where it's fine, we don't want those people in our communities, you know? I'm not trying to be racist here. Just trying to protect my family. Like, I don't know why at all this is a thing.
And given this very obvious fact, it's time for someone in power to answer this fundamental question. Why would we ever let anyone from a culture like this into our country in any capacity, under any circumstance? Here's another way of phrasing the question. How does it benefit the United States of America to allow this culture into our country?
It doesn't.
Explain to me what the benefit is to this.
It is purely altruistic for them, but it's for them at the expense of perhaps us. It's insane. It's insane. Now, whenever I hear things like this, I believe in the fucking shadow government. You don't think there's some shadow government controlling shit? Because otherwise, why would this decision ever be made? If not for nefarious reasons. Like, literally why? Come on, dude.
This country, ours. And now that we made this mistake and allowed them to live here, when are we going to rectify this situation? For that matter, why are we allowing anyone to live here of any ethnicity or nationality who rejects every foundational principle this country stands for?
Good point.
And it's not just Somalis who openly denounce America's interests, morality, customs. Just the other day, Illinois Congresswoman, is a member of Congress, Delia Ramirez, went to Mexico City to announce, quote, "I'm a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American."
I showed that to you.
Now, this is in Spanish, but we'll play the clip. Here it is.
Porque yo soy guatemalteca con mucho orgullo primero que soy americana.
Insane.
Delia
Why would anyone say that? How could anyone say that? I don't know why we as a country are accepting this. Like, it's insane. So leave. Go back to Guatemala. I don't understand. We want the best for you, okay? Go there.
Ramirez, you should know, is the daughter of illegal aliens from Guatemala.
No way.
She was reportedly born in Chicago, which supposedly grants her citizenship for some reason. She's a walking example of why this administration should continue the fight to end birthright citizenship.
Holy shit.
And she's a reminder, as we've discussed, that not everyone in this country...
This is a hostile invasion. It is. So when I say deport every illegal immigrant, and I get so much shit for it, but when I say deport every illegal immigrant, I absolutely mean it. Every single person that is illegal in the country needs to leave immediately. Then you can worry about deporting the people that actually want the downfall of America. But I feel like that's the next step, all right? The Hassan Pikers. Okay, the people that are outwardly propagandizing people to destroy our country, all right? Those guys, get them out also, all right? But that's the next step. The first step, every person illegal in the country should not be in the country. Unfortunately, he was born here, don't care. Do not care. He wants the downfall of Western civilization, well, then he shouldn't be invited in Western civilization. I don't know why we, as a people, need to stand to have people subversive retards showing up to straight up destroy us from the inside. Like, I have no idea why we need to tolerate this shit at all. It's insane.
Country isn't American, even the ones with legal status.
We gotta enact the Anti-Communism Acts, all right, because those are real laws that still exist. All right, the Deport Communist fucking Act. Like, this is crazy. It's insane.
Status, because you have ones with legal status. I'm a Guatemalan before I'm an American. How much clearer can they possibly be? All cultures are created equal, is what we're told.
Yep,
but it's one of the many great
lie.
lies of modern times.
I agree with him completely.
Many of our problems in the West are born from this lie. A lot of people have pretended otherwise over the years. They've invented various justifications for allowing these people to destroy entire cities in this country. But now that Somalis have finally told the truth about their culture to a judge in Minneapolis, and now that members of Congress are admitting their disloyalty to audiences in Mexico City.
So all I can hope is the future. All right, I hope that in the future we will be more careful with who we invite into the country. But I don't see us actually doing anything like that. I could just hope. I want every illegal immigrant deported. All right, and I want to be careful with future imports. Because realistically, if you have X amount of slots, those slots should go to people that would literally be a benefit to our country. Otherwise, why do we need to do favors for the universe?
There simply isn't anything to debate anymore. All we have to do is read their words, listen to them, pay attention to their actions, and respond accordingly. If you'd like to see what else...
I agree with him, to be honest. I agree with him. We have to recognize this. This whole bullshit of, everyone is created equal. Every culture is equal. No cultures are better than others. Like, these are not true. Okay, these are not true statements. As I just showed you with the child sacrifice thing, they are objectively untrue statements. Now, I wish nothing but love and success for all of these cultures. I don't want anything bad to befall any of them. In fact, I want them to pick themselves up and make something of themselves. Be inspired by, the Western cultures, which are better, all right? Be inspired and improve, absolutely. And I don't want any bad to come to these people. But why should we sacrifice ourselves, all right, and our children and our future, all right, for people that want to destroy us? I don't know why even remotely we need to care about any of that whatsoever. That is fucking insane. Now, I wanted to wrap up with this. Speaking of cultures, this is an airline in Sweden that released probably the worst video of the year. And so I want you to lock in. Speaking of cultures, this is the worst video of all time, of the year at the very least, to show you that woke is dead, but only in America. Woke is very alive in Europe. This is talking about how, I think it's Scandinavians or whatever, have no culture. And all the goodness in Scandinavia is because of imports.
What is truly Scandinavian? Absolutely nothing.
That's right, Scandinavian is nothing, because white people have no culture and no past and are not native to anywhere. White people are native people with no culture.
Nada.
There is no such thing.
Everything is copied. Our democracy, credit goes to Greece. Parental leave,
Thank you, Switzerland.
the iconic Scandinavian windmills were actually invented in Persia. And we made the German bicycle a staple of our cities. It's Turkish.
What?
Smapple? Dutch.
What about licorice?
It's Chinese and
Midsommarstången.
German.
And it gets worse.
rumor has it the oh-so-Swedish meatballs might not be as Swedish as you think, but Turkish.
Even the Danish isn't Danish.
It's Austrian and the pride of Norway. The paperclip was actually invented by an American.
And while we're at it,
America, thank you for taking the first steps in empowering the women's rights movement.
Go America!
We're no better
Than our Viking ancestors.
I had to pause it there. I'm sorry. This is my favorite part of the video.
the women's rights movement. We're no better
Than our Viking ancestors.
Brother, you did not have Viking ancestors. I'll be real. Okay? You didn't have Viking ancestors. Okay? Sir, you're black. I don't know if anyone told you this. I don't know if you are aware. Vikings were not. Sir, you do not have Viking ancestors. Okay? You are cringe. That's what you are, bro. You are cringe. Okay? What are we fucking doing, guys? All right, so when I see a video like this, all right, when this dude's saying that we're no better than our Viking ancestors, spit in your mouth and make you swallow, motherfucker. This is insanity. This is absolute insanity. Hate yourself, hate your heritage. Don't be proud of who you are. You are nothing that came from nothing. The only thing that is good about you are things that you are taking from other people.
We take everything we like on our trips abroad, adjust it a little bit, and voila! It's a unique Scandinavian thing. Going out into the world inspires us to think big, even though we're quite small. Because every time we go beyond our borders, we add colors, innovation,
progress.
adding the best of everywhere to here.
Yeah, this is the worst ad, by the way, ever made.
In a way, Scandinavia was brought here, piece by everyday people who found the best of our home away from home.
Wow.
So, we can't wait to see what wonderful things you'll bring home next.
Yeah, the Swedish Airlines thing. This might be the worst advertisement of all time. I wanted to show this to you to show you that this shit is so alive. They hate you, okay? Think about it from this lens, okay? The libtards of the world, okay, will come together and tell you that there are no superior or inferior cultures. All cultures are equal, except for white people, because white people have no culture. Do you recognize not only the hypocrisy, but the retardation that we're dealing with? Thank you so much for being here. This was the most racist video I ever made, and I'm so proud that I made it. Definitely subscribe for more racism. And I'll see you in the next one, gamers. Stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.